Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. So today we have another one hot off the press. This is from like it says 8 hours ago. We're just gonna watch it. I don't even know what she's gonna say, but again, we're finding fresh ones. I needed fresh blood. We've got it. So we're gonna go ahead and listen. Let's go. I'm gonna watch the whole thing and then we'll respond piece by piece.
What if the shape of our bodies isn't proof of failure, but evidence of sacred adaptability? We live in a world that sees fatness as a problem to be solved, a mark of noncompliance, a failure of willpower. But what if fatness isn't about weakness at all? What if it's about language? What if your body has been speaking in survival language this whole time? What if we listen? See, fatness is a signal, not a symptom. It's a map of how your body has adapted to stress, to scarcity, to shame, to trauma, to unrelenting systems that demand way too much and offer way too little. This weight we carry, it's not a sin, it's an archive. It's an archive of everything we've lived through and survived. Think about that. Society punishes fatness as if it is disobedience. But here's the truth: fatness is not the opposite of compliance, it is the embodiment of resilience. Your body didn't give up on you, your body hasn't abandoned you. It has kept you here. It has found a way to persist when everything else said to shut down. So maybe it's time we stopped asking fat people to shrink just to be taken seriously. Maybe it's time we start asking, what does this body know that we've been too busy complying with diet culture to listen to? Because survival is not shameful, and your body's brilliance is never a moral failure. If this speaks to you, if you're done moralizing your metabolism like I am, you're not alone. We're unlearning this together because your body is not the problem. It's the proof of your right to take up space in this world. What if the shape of our bodies
Wow. Okay, so the first thing I have to say is this is honestly, there's a couple of different factors. So the first thing, this person, she does not want to take responsibility for eating too much. That is like a hell no. Hell no to the responsibility. We do not want to even think about it, not even consider it. Nothing. Zero. Don't talk to me about it. Don't do it. Don't whatever. Secondly, a lot of what she's saying has a lot more to do with E followed by the letter D, not fatness. Which, remember, one of the toxic ritualistic mindsets has to do with an over identification with fat, where she's literally identifying with the fat on her body, saying that the fat on her body is the trauma and whatever else that she has gone through. It's truly a wild take. It's truly delusional. It doesn't make any sense. We're going to go ahead and break it down piece by piece.
isn't proof of failure, but evidence of sacred adaptability. We live in a world that sees fatness as a problem to be solved, a mark of noncompliance.
It is a problem to be solved because it is unhealthy to be obese, and especially super morbidly obese, which is what a lot of people who are within fat acceptance are. It's not healthy whatsoever. It's actually super unhealthy, super risky to be that size. It really lowers your quality of life. There's a lot of problems that come from being super morbidly obese alone due to hormonal interactions from such a huge amount of particularly estrogen due to massive amounts of fat stores that our body is in no way, shape, or form adapted to carry. That's why, yes, it is a problem.
A failure of willpower. But what
Non-compliance and failure of willpower, I would say it just has to do with eating too much for a vast array of reasons. Usually it's really just two, I guess. It's really two reasons, but it can show up in a lot of different ways. But basically it's a hormonal problem where you're hungrier than you should be, and or it's toxic ritualistic behaviors, aka E followed by the letter D, aka BINGE. Okay? I have to spell it out because YouTube doesn't like you to talk about it. So basically, those are your main line reasons why somebody is fat. I wouldn't necessarily say it's completely non-compliance, as I don't think either one of those things is super linear. I don't think that most people want to be fat unless if they're in a very specific situation that involves you know what that I don't want to get into at all in this video. But other than that, most people, the vast majority of which, probably don't want to be super fat, and they probably have a hormonal problem or a mental health issue that's leading to it. So I don't like the framing of it as willpower or non-compliance. Non-compliance, that's a little bit of a toxic ritualistic projection, because part of the disorder is rebellion. So, yeah.
What if fatness isn't about weakness at all? What if it's about language? What
What
if
if it's not about either one of those things? What if it's about you're just eating too much?
your body has been speaking in survival language this whole
Yes, your body is trying to survive what you're putting your body through, or it's trying to survive a hormonal problem that you're not treating.
whole time? What if we listen? See, fatness is a signal, not a symptom.
It's a signal of health issues that you have, both mental and physical. It's not a good thing. Sorry. We have to call a spade a spade. It is not a good thing. It is what it is. It's a sign of a problem. It is. I do think that that problem can be met with a bit more understanding. I won't always say compassion, because you cannot be necessarily compassionate with toxic ritualistic mindsets. In fact, you typically need to be very harsh with it, as they are too sticky to go away if you are nicey nice about them. But remember, you attack the logic, not the person. And if you are struggling with this issue, you attack the logic in your own mind. You don't attack yourself. You are not your disorder.
Map of how your body has adapted to stress, to scarcity, to shame, to trauma, to unrelenting systems that demand way too much and offer way too little.
So that has a lot to do with E followed by the letter D. This is typically people's lives within the disorder. They don't have proper boundaries. They're sometimes overworked. There's other issues. There can be extreme boredom, extreme this, extreme that, right? Maybe you only have enough money to eat whatever you want. You don't have any money to do anything else that's stimulating. That's a problem. So if that's what she means by systems, all these systems, however, would just revolve around a disorder. That's all. And it's still, as an adult, it's within your control. You can change it. Even if you're like me and you're working to change things and it's very frustrating and it's not changing fast enough for you, I'm still working to change things. And they will still change, and they still have changed from where I've been. I had a whole moment today on Instagram where I was looking through all of these pictures because I was trying to find the pictures for my different eras, because I wanted to put them as my emojis for members. And I was like, holy crap, I saw a bunch of pictures where I was hugely fat, and it's kind of crazy to see again. So it's like, yeah, my life has changed. Things have definitely changed. But at the moment, it does feel frustrating. It does. You guys can tell, I'm sure. I talk about it all the time. But it's still my responsibility as an adult to change it. It's your responsibility too. There's a lot of reasons why people have this disorder. You have to peel it apart piece by piece. You have to break it down piece by piece. How do you do that? You don't engage in the behaviors. If you don't engage in the behaviors, you're going to know exactly why you're doing it. It's very fast. You'll know within an instant. Within an instant, you will know. And then you work on that problem and you face it. And then you do it over and over again. And then all the layers of it are gone. And then you're out.
This weight we carry, it's not a sin. It's an archive. It's an archive of everything we've...
The weight itself, even in terms of religious discussion, being fat in and of itself would not be considered a sin. It would be the overeating. It's more about the behavior. In the context of my channel, I talk more so about the disordered aspects of toxic ritualistic behaviors, aka binging, aka staring at yourself in a very negative way, aka doing crazy diets that don't make any sense and are completely illogical and impractical, and at times nutrient deficient as well. These are all things that happen within the problem, within the mental health issue that we're talking about here. If you want to call it a sin, you can. You're not taking care of yourself. You're just not. If you don't want to call it a sin, you can call it a disorder. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. But that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about the way you look. At least not on this channel.
You've lived through and survived. Think about that.
No. The fat is just a reflection of everything you've eaten. Sorry, I know that takes the magic out of it, but it is what it is.
Society punishes fatness as if it is disobedience. But here's the truth. Fatness is not the opposite of compliance. It is the embodiment of resilience.
Physical reality punishes fatness, especially if you're very, very big. Your body will start to break down. Your quality of life will go down. It is not good at all. I don't know how else to say that. You can be alone in a room. You're still going to suffer with it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's around. Yes, there are social costs to fatness. I understand what you're saying. But still, the physical costs, especially at a super morbidly obese level, are way higher. It is horrible. It is endless. It is something you live with every moment of every single day, from the time you wake up to when you're sleeping. Everything, even breathing, gets hard. It's horrible. And while I do agree you can be resilient to be super morbidly obese, it's because it's so horrible on its own without even bringing in society at all. There is no point. There is no prize. There is nothing beautiful about being super morbidly obese. There's no honor in it. There's nothing good about it. You shouldn't do it. If you are in that state, I don't believe in shaming you. It's not about shame. It's about making a logical and practical decision to get out of it, because it's never going to get better. It's only going to get worse. That's the way it is. That's reality. There's no reason to wait. There's no reason to put tons of barriers on it. There just isn't. Work on your hormonal issues that you likely have in a super morbidly obese state, and get to a deficit, a moderate deficit, and stick to it and get out. I know it's tough. If you have the disorder, fight it like hell and get out. It's never going to get easier. It just isn't.
Your body didn't give up on you. Your body hasn't abandoned you.
No, you gave up on your body. You abandoned your body. That's how we should look at it if you want to look at it that way. You're not treating your body right. If you're not looking at your hormonal issues, if you don't care about it, if you don't try to investigate it, that's a problem. If you are not dealing with your psychological issues that involve in not treating your body very well at all, you are still the problem. You have to do something about it. What is this idea that to get out of supermorbid obesity is a passive experience? It is not. It's a very active experience. I describe it on this channel as the Eras Tour. I call it the SMO Eras Tour. You have to calculate, you have to strategize, you have to plan, you have to execute. It is difficult to get out of supermorbid obesity, but it is absolutely worth it. And you need to do it. I'm not one of those doctors that's just going to be like, oh, whatever, you're a lost cause. No, you're not. You're not a lost cause. That's a bunch of BS. It's not that I don't agree with prevention, but a lot of people in society, they only view prevention as an option. No, there are things to be done to get out, and you need to do them. I'm not going to give you that out. I'm not going to give you that credit. I'm not going to give you that excuse. No.
It has kept you here. It has found a way to persist when everything else said to shut down.
Yes, your body is trying to survive, and you are not working with your body to survive.
So maybe it's time we stopped asking fat people to shrink
No. Hell no.
just to be taken seriously.
I don't know. I'm asking you to lose weight, to have a better quality of life all around, especially from such a big size. It is a huge difference. It's a huge difference. You can have the luxury of having normal high school level problems like I do now. Congratulations. Sometimes I feel like I'm in college again. I have similar issues to that. I have high school drama BS. I have college financial problems. I have it all. It's so young. It looks so young on me. But guess what I don't have? I don't have the feeling of being near death at every second. I don't have the feeling of having to run away from the Grim Reaper every day. I don't have that feeling anymore, and I haven't for quite a while.
Maybe it's time we start asking, what does this body know that we've been too busy complying with diet culture to listen to?
Your body knows that you're unhealthy, and your body tries to communicate it to you constantly through pain, through discomfort, through inflammation, all of it. Your body's doing its best to tell you that how you're dealing with it is wrong.
Because survival is not shameful. And your
No, but survival would be losing the weight or working to get to a point where you can lose it.
body's brilliance is never a moral failure.
No, but your behaviors absolutely can be.
If,
Especially the neglect of not dealing with issues. That is a moral failure. I'm sorry.
if this speaks to you, if you're done moralizing your metabolism like I am, you're not alone.
Well, moralizing your metabolism doesn't make any sense. Your metabolism usually has to do with nutrient deficiencies, which again, what are you putting in your mouth? Is somebody force feeding you or what? You're an adult. No excuses. I'm sorry. None.
We're unlearning this together because your body is not the problem.
No. You are.
It's the
Your
proof
disorder is. You not dealing with it is. Your physical issues are. But guess what? You can go somewhere to get that looked at and get it worked on. Most hormonal issues have a medication. You don't have an excuse. You just don't. And if you're like, well, the healthcare system sucks and da da da, honey, if it's between life or death, you're going to have to figure it out. I don't know what to tell you. You're going to have to get a job or something. You're going to have to do something. You're going to have to apply for government health care. You're going to have to do something. If it comes down to life or death, then you're going to have to deal with what's ahead or what we have. Or what, you're just going to let it go? And I'm supposed to celebrate that or say that that's somehow moral? It doesn't make any sense. That's a huge no. Huge no.
of your right to take up space in this world.
Okay, whatever. All right. That's what I have to say. As you can tell, I'm in a very no BS mindset right now. It is what it is. That's the facts. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. I hope you have a good rest of your day, night, etc. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know, I guess. It's just one of those nights. That's all I can tell you. It's one of those days, one of those nights. It is what it is. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.